Hey, Joe from Boulet's Garage here. So I'm going to talk to you for a minute about the placebo effect. Maybe certain services you are sold on your vehicle or certain products you buy into that may trick your mind into thinking your car is running better or has more power. Hold on, we're going to talk about it next. I had a guy come to me not too long ago with his Subaru, and he wanted his spark plugs replaced as a maintenance interval. I said, sure, I'll do that for you. So there was nothing wrong with the spark plugs. They were fine, just they were required to be replaced at a certain mileage. I did that. So I replaced his spark plugs. He paid his bill. He was on his way. And about 2 weeks later, he stopped by and says, I can't believe it. I'm like, what? Is there something wrong? No, I can't believe how much more power my Subaru has. And I'm like, really? What do you attribute to that to? And he says, you replaced my spark plugs. I can't believe it. I said, I didn't want to hurt his feelings, but that has nothing to do with it. In his mind, I think he's thinking maybe he was going downhill and he had a breeze behind him and it felt like it had more power, that type of thing. But no, highly unlikely. Also, you know, there's products out there I believe in, and it depends on what you're using them for. Fuel injection cleaners. I know Chevron with Techron. I've seen that unplug clogged injectors if you follow the instructions to a T. I've actually seen products sold in the past. This is a good one. In the past, there was this magnet you put around your fuel line, right? And it was going to increase your fuel mileage. Right. No, don't believe it. You got to be careful about what you're pulled into. There are services that are really good. There are maintenance things that you can do that will improve the longevity of your car. But, you know, I had another situation where years ago when I worked at the Honda dealership, guy bought a Prelude SI. Actually, he was one of the salespeople. He bought a Prelude SI. It was VTEC. When you got down on the accelerator, it really sounded cool. You know, and he comes out to me one day and he says, hey, how can I get more power out of my Prelude? I love it, but I want more power. I says, well, there's not a lot. You can do a lot, but it's why do you need to do that? I said, you know, the only thing, I mean, you know, you can adjust the valves in it, but you're really not due for the valve adjustment for another, you know, 5,000 miles. I think he had 25,000 miles on it at the time. They recommended 30,000 miles. So he came back to me several days later. He goes, I don't care if it's not due yet. I want my valves adjusted. I'm like, oh, okay, I can adjust your valves for you. So he dropped it off the following day. I adjusted the valves. There was one exhaust valve that was a little bit tight. Now, if exhaust valves or any valves are really tight, you can lose compression and therefore you can lose some power that way, but it's not significant. So anyway, I did the valve adjustment. I didn't get to see him. The service advisor had the key. You know, he did all the paperwork and got him out the door. Later on, I didn't see him. 2 days later, he comes to me, he says, Joe, I can't believe how much more power my Prelude has. I'm like, really? Yeah, you adjusting the valves like that. I just can't believe it. So you got to be careful about what you're sold. You know, in your head, you're thinking, wow, it has so much more power. Well, it really doesn't, you know. Unless you take a car and put a supercharger on it or a turbocharger or you use octane boost or something like that, yeah, that's going to give you more power, but it's not something like a valve adjustment on a Honda. Anyway, so just be careful about what you are sold. Like and subscribe. Until next time, drive safely and have a good night.